So, let me get this straight. You're telling me that these people, when you talk about everything they said they was going to do in the past, 2-3 years you've been talking about this? Everything you said they was going to do, they did it. Is that what you're saying? So now you're saying that the power grid's going to go down and they're going to shut the internet off? Is that what you're saying? What time is the Masked Singer on tonight?
This is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
Hello, this is Covert Radio. It is 2/28/22, Monday morning, or late Sunday night, however you want to look at it. And I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I need you to check your normalcy bias. Check it at the door. I need you to check your conditioning at the door. Your cognitive bias, check it at the door. No matter what you believe, no matter what you've been told, no matter what you've been brainwashed with, check it at the door. And you can go right back to it as soon as you're done listening to Covert Radio. But while you're listening to Covert Radio, I please ask that you do that. This is talk radio format. The other thing I ask is give me 5 minutes. If you like what you hear, give me 5 more. If you like what you hear, give me 5 more. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. I want to go over a few emails. I'm not going to read the emails or anything, but somebody I love dearly they brought something up to me earlier tonight. And I said, you're not the first one that has told me this. I've gotten some emails, and it's about my new song. I've mentioned it in the last couple videos. It's called Please Mr. Putin Drop, Level DC. But I've been toying around with different titles of this song, but yeah, it's a song. I mean, there's no threat, there's no nothing. It's a song. And I guess I could ask you, so did you have the same problem in 20 years ago when people were talking about drop that bomb on the Arabs? Did you have a problem then too? So you did want to go drop them bomb on them ragheads. Is that right? Some bitches. Just go drop that bomb. Level them all. Some bitch. They hate our freedom. Right there's what that is. They hate our freedoms. That Bin Laden, he don't like America no-how. So why don't you just get President Bush and get him and get on the B-52s and turn on the B-52s. Love Shack's one of my favorite songs. And then you go over there, you just drop the nuclear bomb, and that's it. Them ragheads go back, take them back 2,000 years. That's all. because their God ain't my God, and my God ain't their God, and by God, one of us got to be wrong. And I know it ain't me. That there Bin Laden, he's a maniac. He hates America. He's jealous of our freedoms. So just drop a bomb on him. I saw that. He's right there. Nice and simple. That's it. So is that what happened with 9/11? I'm going somewhere with this. I'm teaching you something about your own cognitive bias, your own conditioning, your own brainwashington. Brainwashington. Ooh, I like that. Brainwashington. I should title that. This video should be titled Brainwashington. Listen, check it at the door, because these emails I've been getting, you have to understand something. You cannot believe what you are seeing. You can't believe what you're hearing. You cannot trust these sources of information, because they are all hell-bent on demonizing Putin, demonizing Russia, demonizing... See, let me put it like this. 20 years ago, that was you. Drop a bomb on them Arabs. Drop a damn Muslims extremists. This is a jihad. This is a holy war against my God, my Jesus. That's what this is. That's what you believed, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker. But, as information and time has gone on, we now know about the dancing Israelis and Mossad's involvement and, a bunch of other information, who's who, who's where, why this, why that. Larry Silverstein, I said on that day we've had so much damage and loss. I told him, just pull it. I said, just pull it. With Building 7 or whatever, the third building that was never on fire, never hit with a plane, but it also crumbled down in its own footprint, just like every other building they've ever demolished in time. As the buildings are falling, you see poof, 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 poof. You see the columns being knocked out by explosive. They cleaned up all the debris. They shipped it off to some mine or plant, processing plant in another country, and that's it. Nothing to see here. We're going to war, boys. Woohoo! 20 years. We're going to get that oil. We're going to get all that oil, and we're going to put military bases everywhere. That's what we're going to do. What's that? Oh, yeah, that's right. They hate our freedoms. That's right. God bless America. God bless America. Let me count this. 50, 100, 152. God bless America. 350, 34, 450. Hey, we got to protect Israel, too. You know what I mean? Now, we put a buffer zone in between Israel and all them rockheads over there. No, now 20 years later, we got to get Putin. We got to put our missiles right up against his border. He doesn't want that. And I don't care what CNN says. I don't care what all the papers say. I don't care. Because I know enough of history and the truth to understand what's happening. And at the very worst case scenario, Putin is playing his part in this push towards the Great Reset. And I'm saying that is the very worst possible scenario. He's playing his part. Because I could say this too, if you'd all just rolled your sleeve up, this would never have happened, right? Don't ask no questions. Sign up for your, every 6-month shot. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Then you sign up for your QR code, your digital ID, your citizen ID that's going to have all your medical information. Hey, no problems, no wars, no nothing. That's what would have happened. But because people aren't willing to do that, now they're going to force us to do it. Now they're going to force us to do it. I wrote a comment in one of the last videos. It will start on a Thursday. It will start on a Thursday. Wall Street. Then the banking system will be first. Russian hackers, they're going to clear out everybody's checking and savings. They're going to destroy Wall Street. The stocks are going to plummet. Panic, panic, panic. Bank runs. Any money that's even available in the bank, it's going to be withdrawn immediately. That's it. Panic's going to ensue for about a week. During that time, within 3 to 4 days, but guaranteed by the end of the week, stores will be cleared because we are a society that lives from warehouse to store shelf, warehouse to store shelf. There is nothing in the back. There's no cases and crates and cases and crates of rice and beans. It is in a warehouse, and then it's going to be shipped to the store and put on the shelves that night. 2 to 3 days total is what's in the Walmarts in these big stores. That's it. So that'll all be wiped out in about a week. They're going to be cleared. Then, oh my goodness, don't forget, next Friday's the trucker protest, which I may be going live. I'm still thinking about it. I got to see how they're going to go. What's even going to happen in the next 3 days? We may not have power in the next 4 days. I'm being dead serious. But I may be live streaming the trucker convoy here coming up because, I'll explain it later in the week. But this is all going to be blamed on Russian hackers. They've been setting us up for a few years for the Russian hackers. It's going to be sporadic grid failure at first. It's going to be primarily in red states. Then we're going to have a complete grid failure. And this is going to last about 8 to 10 months. Their civil war will finally break out for food and water. The race war will break out. Everything that they've been trying to flame for the last 7 years, especially the race war, they're going to get everything they want in 8 to 10 months. All of the ammunition that the slaves have will be depleted. The weapons will be useless. The food will be gone. The water will be polluted. Nobody will have medicine anymore. Everything is going to be gone. 8 to 10 months, there will be millions of people dead. Here comes FEMA. Here comes the UN. Here comes NATO. Just like they did in Canada, those green uniform stormtroopers, they're peacekeeping troops. They're going to keep the peace in you so much, they're going to blast your face open with their billy clubs. No names, no badges, no ID numbers. They're going to be sent in. They're going to start cleaning up the bodies. They're going to start burning piles of bodies. And they're going to set up FEMA emergency centers, possibly all the shutdown Walmarts that Covert Radio talked about a couple of years ago. That video got abruptly removed. Removed it. That video got abruptly removed when I talked about Operation Jade Helm and all the shutdown Walmarts. Remember that? These are FEMA relocation centers. And guess what? They're all strategically going to be set up. Because inside of these centers will be machines nobody's ever seen before. At least none of us have. They're called biometric identification machines. And they will be used to identify every single person that walks up to the gate. I have proof of this, by the way. I have proof of the technology. Once your ID is established, there will be mandatory injections. And you're either going to agree or you're going to be turned right around or you're going to be imprisoned in the other section of this camp. So whatever you have, it's either going to be performed fully or it's going to be continued where you left off. Or it's just going to be added to wherever you left off. You understand what I'm saying? Jab, jab, jab. Wherever you're at right now, they're just going to keep going. Okay? Including with that is going to be your brand new biometric identification chip. This will be mandatory if you want food, water, and medicine. By the end of 3 years, by the end of 2025-26, there will be literally hundreds of millions of people will be dead in the United States. The New World Order will be officially launched to rebuild society with one digital currency, one biometric ID system. And that is called the mark of the beast. It's called the mark of the beast. And everything you've seen in the last, I don't know how many years, has led up to this. The movies has led up to this. The music even has led up to this. The music videos that are far and in between. What makes you think they're not going to go through with this? This is what makes me crazy. Your cognitive bias and your normalcy bias, for some reason, you don't believe that this is what's on the table, even though everything is pointing to that. These are soulless, completely void of any human empathy, demonic, soulless demons. And all you have to do is look at their fashion, look at their art, look at their music, or listen to their music. You will see the godlessness that's in the emptiness that's inside these people. They're godless, soulless, empty demons. They have no empathy whatsoever. And they're all clamoring to achieve their dream of transhumanistic life extension, or better yet, they want everlasting life, so that they'll never die, they'll never be judged by God through any means possible, whether it's organ harvesting like the CCP does, and that's documented, but more so through biometric, transhumanistic, artificially intelligent clones. They'll live forever. All of the programming, the propaganda, the brainwashing, everything that's been going on says that the power is going out. Right here. And my whole next video is going to be all of this, but I just want to touch on this quickly, because this is like a specialized section, because there's a whole other I guess plot, you could call it, that they're going to blame domestic terrorists, which mainly white people, white men. Domestic extremists. This is CBS News. Domestic extremists have plotted to disrupt the U.S. power grid. A DHS bulletin warns. Does that even make sense? Sure, yeah, we're going to show them. We're going to show them. We're going to shut down our own power. That's how crazy we are. That's how much we hate America. We're going to shut our own power down. We're going to make sure our own lights go out. What do you think of that? Try me now. You know what I mean? Say something now. I'll shut my own refrigerator off. You ain't got to shut my lights out. I'll shut them out. How stupid are you to believe this? But there are people that will believe domestic extremists are going to shut down their own power. Domestic violent extremists have been planning to try to disrupt the U.S. power grid, and they're probably going to keep doing so, according to a Department of Homeland Security intelligence bulletin shared with law enforcement agencies and utility operators Monday, and it was obtained by CBS News. DVEs, which is a cool little acronym for domestic violent extremists, these DVE scum have developed credible, specific plans to attack their own power supply. They're going to shut down their own garages so they can't weld or make anything or fix their They're going to show you. They're going to show you. They're going to shut their own heat down. How stupid are you to believe this? They're going to attack the electricity infrastructure. They've been trying this since 2020. Oh, really? Let's see here. In the middle of a supposed pandemic, there's people licking their chops trying to shut the power. Like, this is the insanity. This is the insanity. And I'll show you another document that was just released recently that would say people that think like this are terrorists. They're domestic terrorists. They're identifying the electric grid as a particularly attractive target, giving its interdependency with other infrastructure sectors. It warns that extremists adhering to a range of ideologies will likely continue to plot and encourage physical attacks against their own houses and electric and their own air conditioning and heat and refrigeration and freezers. Yeah, that makes sense. Get the fuck out of here. But again, people do believe this. See, this is what they've done. They've digitized everything as quickly as possible. The cloud, the cloud, the cloud. Do you own anything that isn't smart? Your smart washer, smart refrigerator, smart TV, smart phone, smart this, smart. Digitized with control access. That's what smart means. You're a dummy is what that means. Digitized devices for people to have control access. They can shut your smart device off, your whatever, your phone. You see what they've done to the people in Canada. There was one woman who donated $10 to the trucker convoy. Her political and, it's her right. It's her right to give her money to who she wants to. But because literally a handful of people called them extremist and racist and terrorist, then that means this woman who donated $10 is also now a terrorist and her bank account's frozen? I want you to really understand what's happening here. These people have too much control and too much access. And you've given it all to them. You've given it all to them. You download an app for recipes and it wants to view your contacts. It wants access to your microphone. It wants access to your camera. Yes. I want to know how to make this General Tso's. It was delicious. The pictures look so good. I could just eat my phone. Yummy, yummy. The reason to digitize everything and have control access is so that they can punish those who oppose it. And all the last 2 years, they know who's who, they know who's where, they know who has what, who believes in what, who thinks what. Everything's been sharpened. Everything's been sharpened over the last 2 years. All the algorithms, everything. The biometrics, the cameras, the way to identify people through their mask, which is being used right now today. It's all been honed in. It's been honed in almost as if it was a live exercise, except millions of people have died. It's like these Russians keep saying, which, again, you cannot believe listen to me, unless you have somebody in Ukraine right now, a family member that you've known your whole life, you cannot trust anything that's coming out onto the media because it's all propaganda. And it's sad. It may be true, but it may not be true. But at the end of the day, they're going to keep saying, oh, yeah, I can't believe Putin's the devil. He's the devil. Oh, look at all the death. This was unprovoked. Like, they are not telling the truth. And you hear this enough every day, you eventually start to believe it. Just like these Muslims hate our freedoms. That bin Laden, his family's millionaires. Meanwhile, you know this, The bin Laden family was one of the only people allowed in their private jets to leave America because they're friends with the Bushes. Everybody needs their punching bag. Everybody needs their boogeyman. It went from bin Laden to now Putin. That's literally as simple as it can get. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either World War III really will start, because I just read this in the last hour or so, that, they're talking about more sanctions on top of NATO-aligned countries are now, giving Ukraine surface-to-air missiles. Oh, really? Really? Because if this is for real, you've just walked into World War III. Putin had made it crystal clear, if you get involved in this, we're going. We're going. So just an hour or two ago, start seeing it everywhere. This country, surface-to-air missiles, ammunition, this, that. Oh, okay. So as a leader of a country who people mainly adore, they're now being threatened by NATO-aligned countries and EU countries with giving them weapons of death to kill innocent Russians, right? What about innocent Ukrainians, Covert radio? Real? I don't know. I'm not there. And I literally cannot, and you cannot believe anything that you're seeing right now because it's all propaganda. They did the exact same thing for the last 20 years. You can only base an opinion if you can obtain real information. Let me say that again. I just coined this. You can only base an opinion if you obtain real information. That's it. And you can only make an opinion off of information you can source. So at the end of the day, if you have this, and this, you can make your own decision. But when you only have this person silenced, this person censored, this person silenced, this person censored. No, you can't talk about that. No, you can't talk about that. But you can listen to this one. You can hear this one. You can no, you can't hear that. You can't hear that. You can't. These big tech companies have made sure that they're right in line with their communist agenda. They're silencing any opposing voices. They are controlling the information. So with that being said, you cannot make an informed opinion. All of the programming, all of the propaganda, all of it, all of the brainwashing says the power is going out. And however many boogeymen they want to set up, whether it's right-wing extremists who want to shut their own power off, or it's Antifa, which they're not terrorists, they're good people. Now it's Putin, Russian hackers are going to shut it all down. No matter who they blame it on, when they flick the switch, the grid's going down and the power's going down. Why? Because they've lost control of the narrative. If you would have just rolled your sleeve up and agreed to your QR code and your passport, your vaccine passport, and everything that went along with that, we would have walked right into Agenda 2030, which is your digital ID, one ID for everything, to vote, to get on the internet, no more troll accounts, to drive, to have a driver's license, everything, all of your medical information, one QR code or chip on your right hand or forehead. The power's going out. They're talking mass cyber attacks. And here is the bulletin from DHS. Summary of terrorism threat to the homeland. Yeah. See, they've twisted this so much that the actual threat to the homeland, as they say, the actual threat is in the White House, and it's in the deep state. And nobody trusts this administration. But what they've managed to do now is label people who don't trust this administration as a security threat. And not only are they talking about the security threats of people who aren't marching in line with the Biden regime and the communist Chinese, who Biden completely answers to on paper. I'm almost finished with my book called Red-Handed. If you want to, like, your mind will be blown. And I am going to cover it for you guys once I'm done with it. Peter Schweitzer, Red-Handed. You'll puke every 10 pages because of the corruption. Pelosi, McConnell, forget about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. 30-some companies, shell companies, deep into the pockets of the Chinese. 25,000 emails have been released. You have no idea. You have no idea. But see, there's so much corruption in D.C. There's so much corruption at their level that it's almost like telling on yourself. So who can say what? Because let's look under your carpet. Let's look in your closet. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, and other forms of dis, and malinformation. MDM, another cute little acronym. What was it? The DVEs are rife with MDM. It's being introduced or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors, the DHS bulletin says right here. Heightened threat landscape, the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in the U.S. government institutions. They've not done that themselves. You don't trust the government. Why? Now because of people like that are online telling you what the other side of the coin looks like? That's why you don't trust the government. It has nothing to do with them allowing Antifa and BLM to basically burn the country down and rip statues down from our history for an entire year. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with declassified information of all the mind tricks and experiments and, pollution of water supplies and just no, it has nothing to do with 50, 80, 100 years of declassified monstrous actions and lies. It's because somebody like Covert Radio is on the internet talking on YouTube. And I'm a domestic terrorist. Just like Mayorkas or whatever his name is, he thinks that white extremists are the biggest terror threats in America. This was also another Homeland or DHS security bulletin. White extremists are the biggest terror threat to America. Their own country, that is unbelievably and undeniably filled. The soil is filled with the blood of our ancestors and your ancestors too. But see how they're flipping it? Americans are even angry at COVID lockdown rules or who have expressed concerns about election integrity. They're potential extremists. Just like Tariq Nasheed always says, suspected white supremacist. What? You don't believe exactly what I believe or say? Then you're a suspected white supremacist. Let me get my chopstick. Sweetie, you got that new song done? I can't wait. I got Fur. I got Fox. Tariq, you're live. Oh, what up, man? Yo, what up, family? Oh, yeah. Since Biden took office, the administration has intensified efforts to demonize its political adversaries. Right? Isn't this exactly what's happening? They're demonizing political adversaries, people who speak out against them. And I mean, we're talking tens of millions of just ordinary people are now being labeled domestic extremists. Every government agency has been hijacked. there was just last month, and I'm going to get deeply into this in the next video, not this specific topic, or this specific thing right that I'm about to say, but everything I'm talking about in this. I just wanted to give you a brief overview. But last month, the Army conducted a guerrilla warfare exercise. It was in North Carolina, where troops were engaging with freedom fighters. They were in a mock battle against freedom fighters. There's a disturbing spike of threats against school officials. Well, you think that's because you've called the FBI to investigate parents who don't believe what the school board is, how they're driving the ship of their children's education? So call the FBI and turn the FBI, the government, on tax-paying parents of children who are going to a school district that's, by most accounts, are very rarely run by people who even have children. And you don't know that Biden's a bumbling idiot. We all can see it. But I guess if you say that now, you're a terrorist. Just like a few days ago, Biden was talking about sanctions with against Putin or Russia. His exact words: "No one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening." Then what are they for? He doesn't a dummy, a literal dummy could realize he's not in control. He's not. So who is? You don't think the American people, have a right to ask that? Who really is in control? The same breath saying, nobody expected these sanctions to do anything. We knew he was going in. Why do you know that? Is that part of the plan? Because like I said, worst case scenario, Putin is playing his role. He's going right along with it so that everything can now be folded into fours, and Russia's going to be blamed for you got to think of where they're trying to take the ship. People bucked against the medical tyranny. So now we have to go with force, and we're going to shut your power out and let you kill each other. But then, Biden was like, yeah, there's going to be even more sanctions. Psaki can't even explain him away anymore. And if the media wasn't so controlled, do you really believe that's how press conferences would go? It's literally laughable, the level of incompetence. It's sad. It really is sad. If it wasn't so sad, I would laugh. He has zero clue as to what's going on. Again, you have to ask yourself, who is running things? Because we know it's not him. The whole country is seeing his cognitive issues. The whole country, the whole world can see his mental decline. The guy is 80 years old, 79, 80 years old. He's incoherent. He's confused. He looks weak. He looks tired. He's a bumbling idiot. But see, I've always said that it's symbolism for America. Because as Biden looks, they're trying to make America the same way. Incoherent, weak, having Marines walk around in red stiletto heels, right? The military is so woke that they can barely hold a rifle now. And even if they do have a rifle, they don't name it anymore unless it's the correct pronoun. Over 2/3 of the country want to see Biden take the exact same cognitive competency test that they made Trump take. Nobody will say it. You have one or two people saying it. But this is what's happening. We're all being turned into domestic terrorists. Like I said, with my one song I'm working on, you had groups like NWA talking about killing police and whatever else. This is a song, Mr. Putin leveled DC. There's been many songs talking about drop a bomb, do this, do that. It is a song. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, at what point do you say shut up? That is where we're going. They're turning everybody into domestic terrorists that do not pull the Communist Party line. Here's the scary part. If they are able to somehow, because the convoy is coming up. It's coming to D.C. It's on its way. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of truckers, but they're moving every day. They've already left Arizona. They're driving through the day, sleeping at night, driving in the day, which I might, again, I don't know if I said this before, but I might be going live this week sometime and see if I can get a glimpse of it somewhere. But what's going to happen this time next week? Are we even going to have power this time next week? Because I wanted to make a sign. And if you're hearing my voice and you go near the convoy or you can get a sign up, why don't you make this sign? If you're not an FBI agent, honk your horn. If you're not an FBI agent, honk your horn. Honk, honk. Because that's exactly where this is going. Listen. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. Right here. How old is this? Black and white picture. It's the KKK right there. FBI leadership claimed Bureau was almost powerless against the KKK, despite making up 1/5 of its membership. Deputy Director James Adam testified that the Bureau had 3 times as many ghetto informants as they did those targeting white supremacists. 1/5 of the KKK membership were agents, FBI agents. The Capitol riots and the FBI infiltration of patriot groups. This is an amazing article right here. It goes through with references of sources. It's almost like, would anything ever happen if the FBI didn't initialize it? Seriously. The fact that FBI infiltration into the militia or patriot movement reinforced the belief of agent provocateurs claims that the idea outstrips reality. Oh, really? Suggesting that it is ridiculous to assume, despite all of the evidence of infiltration, that the agents involved would assist their targets in carrying out violent crimes. This article is amazing. It talks about incident after incident after incident, Oklahoma City incident after incident of agents getting this, getting that, getting bomb-making material, putting it in people's hands, literally. Right here, an article by Peter Aldis, the BuzzFeed News, shows another instance of the FBI providing fake bombs and Stinger missiles to a Muslim individual who was known to be a hater. You can read it yourself. Even the judge acknowledged this individual could not have carried out this plot without the FBI's planning. This goes on and on and on and on and on. It was also to a point where they took a retarded kid and turned him into a terrorist by arming him, giving him, plotting for him. You know, it's almost similar to the medical industry. If nobody's sick and needs medicine, then what good are you? Why cure any diseases? It's the same thing with the government anymore. Well, if the country's safe and there aren't radical extremists like you keep saying that's not being led by the FBI or other these what are they called, mercenary groups like Blackwater, then what good is your budget? What good is the funding? But how do you keep getting this legislation? Like this DHS bulletin, pretty soon they're going to make laws. If you say X, Y, and Z, you will be labeled a domestic terrorist. No, there is no freedom of speech. Watch this like you've never watched anything in your life.
I want to turn to the FBI. How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sir, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Well, there are a lot of people who are understandably very concerned about Mr. Epps. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that had gathered, and there's video out there of him chanting, "Tomorrow, we need to get into the Capitol, into the Capitol." This was strange behavior, so strange that the crowd began chanting, "Fed, Fed, 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 Fed." Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
The next day, on January 6th, Mr. Epps is seen whispering to a person, and 5 seconds later, 5 seconds after he's whispering to a person, that same person begins to forcibly tear down the barricades. Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades?
Sir, similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that.
Shortly thereafter, the FBI put out a public post seeking information on individuals connected with violent crimes on January 6th. Among those individuals, in the bottom there, is Mr. Epps. The FBI publicly asked for information, identifying, offering cash rewards for information leading to the arrest. This was posted, and then, sometime later, magically, Mr. Epps disappeared from the public posting. According to public records, Mr. Epps has not been charged with anything. No one's explained why a person videoed urging people to go to the Capitol, a person whose conduct was so suspect the crowd believed he was a Fed, would magically disappear from the list of people the FBI was looking at. Ms. Sandburn, a lot of Americans are concerned that the federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th. My question to you, and this is not an ordinary law enforcement question, this is a question of public accountability. Did federal agents or those in service of federal agent actively encourage violent and criminal conduct on January 6th?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Thank you.
The power is going to go out. The internet is going to go out. It could be as early as tomorrow. It could be early as Thursday. I said it's going to start on a Thursday. The only thing you can do at this point is tell every single person you know to call their elected official and tell them that if there's any FBI entrapment or any false attacks on the country, we're watching, and it will be brought to the surface. But the problem is, if they also shut the internet off, who are you going to tell? Who are you going to tell? You better get ready, because it is coming. Whether it is Russia for real, which is laughable. But it very well can look like them, and it will be blamed on them. But if that doesn't work, then they also have plan B, which will be extremist. White American male extremist. You better start making people aware that you know what's going on, because that's the only reason they can continue to do this, because they genuinely believe that either nobody cares, nobody's watching, or nobody can see what's happening. But I'll keep doing this until I'm not breathing anymore. Pray for me, pray for the truth sayers. And I just pray to God what I think is coming doesn't come. I'm Covert Radio. If you like this type of media, please consider becoming a Patreon. I have so much information for you guys. I even have some things you should be getting this week. You know, even though I've talked about this time and time again, I still feel like I need to do it one more time. But I hope I get to see you next time. I really do. You guys take care. Have a good day.
This is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to